Yo, what up guys? As you guys can see, we're already in the car. It's a little windy outside, that's why I didn't really start it like I normally do, because I still got to get that mic and the little dead cat or whatever they call it to block the wind. But we're gonna get right to the point in this one. It's just a short little video. As you guys can see in the title and the thumbnail, something that comes up a lot in the Mopar community, mainly with people who have Hemis, 5.7, 6.4s, not so much the 6.2s, because it's a little bit of a different setup. But as you guys can see, we're talking about the Hemi tick, and I made videos on this in the past, but more so, I wasn't really explaining what it is and how to prevent it or any of that. And people ask me about it all the time, and I always tell you guys I'm not an expert. I do my own research and I advise you guys to do the same, but I'm just gonna share with you guys a little bit of what I've seen in my own research. So we're gonna jump right into it. If you guys enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. It helps out tremendously. I appreciate it greatly. If you want to see bigger and better things on this channel, those likes go a very long way with the YouTube algorithm. It helps out a lot. So once again, thank you guys so much, and without further ado, let's get right to it. So the Hemi tick. Obviously, I got a 6.4 Scat Pack wide body, as you guys seen in the B-roll. I previously had a 5.7 RT Challenger, and in the 5.7 Challenger, I never really, experienced any sort of ticking. I had that car for about 9 years, and I never heard any sort of ticking. In this one, there actually has been a ticking. I mean, if you go back to my very first video when I very first started, about to start it for the first time. Sounds nice. That stopped too. Check this thing out. I didn't really know too much about it back then, but you could actually hear a little tick, and we're gonna talk about if that's a Hemi tick or if it's something else. But I do still have that tick. I did take the car in to get it looked at, but because I lowered the vehicle, it's too low to put on the lifters over there for them to be able to lift it up and check it out. So I got to take it to a different one that has, I don't know, special lifters or something to get that taken care of. But I'm pretty sure I know what it is, and as I explained to you guys what the Hemi tick actually is, you'll have more of an understanding as well. So with the Hemi tick, it could be one of two things. It could be the actual Hemi tick, which we'll get to in a second, or it could be an exhaust leak. And when it comes to mine, which I'll show you guys, I'm pretty damn sure it's an exhaust leak. Because with an exhaust leak, basically you hear the ticking noise when on startup with the cold start, and then eventually as it warms up, it'll go away. And before we get into what the Hemi tick actually is, I'm just gonna start up the vehicle real quick. That way you guys could hear it. You could hear the tick, and then you'll hear that it eventually will go away. And that's why I'm pretty positive that what I have is an exhaust leak. So before we jump into what the Hemi tick is, let me just start the vehicle real quick. That way you guys could hear what an exhaust leak sounds like compared to an actual Hemi tick. Boom, you see how it went away? No more tick. So right there, you guys could tell it was pretty easy to see that, you know, you could hear the tick pretty clearly, and then eventually, doesn't take too long, once it gets warm enough, that tick goes away. So that right there is an exhaust leak. Nothing to worry about. Well, you know, I wouldn't say nothing to worry about, because you still do have to get that taken care of, but it isn't as serious as a Hemi tick. It's nowhere near as serious as an actual Hemi tick. So with all that being said, getting into what the actual Hemi tick is that you have to be worried about. So if you have an actual Hemi tick, that ticking noise will happen on startup, and it'll just keep going. You'll just keep hearing it. And I think, you know, if you hit the throttle, it might go away a little bit. You know, you won't hear it as much when you're driving. But as soon as you come back to idle, you'll start to hear that ticking noise again. And, you know, it'll be pretty obvious. You'll be able to hear it. So if that is happening with your car, that is a serious Hemi tick, and you got to get that taken care of immediately. Because what that is, you have a bad lifter, the rolling on it has given out, and basically it's just banging away on that camshaft. And after a while of banging on that cam, it's gonna start to shave away some of that metal. And as that metal comes off that cam, it's gonna go through your engine, and it can cause catastrophic failure. So if you don't get it taken care of quick enough, you know, that's gonna be a pretty big deal, and it's gonna be a hefty little bill that you're gonna have to pay for when it comes to repairing that, you know. So if you still have a warranty, make sure you get that thing in there ASAP. Even if you don't, you know, you're gonna have to do what you have to do and get that taken care of. Now I know someone recently, my boy Lem, I know they have a Scat Pack 40,000 miles on it, and they recently had that issue. They had to go and take it in and get that replaced because they had a bad lifter. And basically the reason that happens is something with the MDS lifters. They just end up going bad, the rollers give out, and they just start banging away on the cam. That's the reason it doesn't really happen with Hellcats, with the 6.2 Hellcat, because they have a different type of lifter. And that is something you can do. You can get the Hellcat lifter, but with that you will have to get a tune, and you know, that will void your warranty, and it will, you know, cost a little extra money. So from what I hear, it's not that much of an issue where, you know, a lot of Mopar vehicles are having to deal with it. It's a very low percentage, and most of the time if you have that tick, it's going to be an exhaust leak, and you will be able to know that because, like I just showed you, it goes away. But if you are one of the few people that actually have to deal with the Hemi tick where the lifter goes out, then I'm sorry for you, but you're gonna have to get that taken care of ASAP. And people always ask me, you know, if there's anything that can be done to prevent Hemi tick from happening, and there is a few things. You know, one main reason that the lifters go out on these engines is people who have their car idling for way too long. You know, these cars shouldn't be idling for any longer than you need them to. It's not good, you know, to keep your car running, especially with these Mopar vehicles, especially with these Hemi engines. That is a lot of times when these lifters will go out. So try not to leave your car at idle for longer than you need it to. Warm it up, and as soon as it's warm, go. You know what I'm saying? And if you're stopped, I mean, if you're in traffic, that's one thing, but if you don't need your car on, just turn it off and turn it back on when you need to. You don't want to keep this thing running at idle. It's not good for the engine, and you can see there's a lot of videos on it, people explaining that same thing. Another thing is easy. Keep up on your oil changes. You know, I think the recommended oil change on these is about 5,000 miles or so. I always go 5,000. I only had 2 so far. The last one I did myself. I actually have that video up if you guys want to check it out. But I keep it between 5 and 6. I won't go over 6, and I won't really go below 5. I don't think there's a need to go below 5, but you know, everybody has their own opinion on that and their own reasoning. I mean, 5 is the sweet spot. If you go above that, you don't really want to go above that too much. Especially, I wouldn't go over 6, but if you go to around 6, I don't think you're pushing it too much. But definitely, if you can, I would go every 5,000 miles, get that oil changed, keep up on your fluids, make sure you're always checking it, you know, when you go to the gas station, maybe every other time you fill up, just check that oil, make sure you're at a good level, make sure it looks good, and you should be fine. Like I said, this doesn't happen in too many of these vehicles. I never dealt with it in my 5.7 that I had for 9 years. This one I have a tick, as you guys heard, but that's an exhaust leak, as we just went through. So with me, I've never personally dealt with it. I've had 2 Mopars so far, and I've never had to deal with it. The only person that I know that has had to deal with it is my boy Lem, and you know, I know a whole bunch of people with Mopar vehicles, and you know, none of them have ever had to deal with it either. So you know, it's not like it's a huge amount, like I keep saying. You don't really have to be worried about it too much. Just be aware of what it is. If you have one of these vehicles, you know, always keep an ear out for it, just in case it does happen. You want to get that taken care of right away, so it doesn't mess up more than it already has begun to. You know what I'm saying? The less it could shave down on that camshaft, the better it's going to be for you, and the better it's going to be for your wallet in the long run. Because like I said, once that lifter starts banging away on that camshaft and that metal gets thrown around through that whole engine, sayonara for that engine, you know, and that bill's gonna be running up. That's pretty much what it is. You know, a couple people asked me about it, so I figured I'd make another video, even though I've talked about it in the past. I don't think I really went and explained you know, all of what it was. Like I always say, I'm not an expert on this, but that's the research that I've done, and I encourage you guys to do research of your own. You could go out there and basically you're gonna hear the same thing. That's what the Hemi tick is. Some people say it's normal. It's definitely not normal. If you hear that tick, it's not normal. So go get it taken care of and you should be fine. If you guys have any other questions, just drop it down below in the comments. If I missed anything and you have anything to add, please drop it down below in the comments. It's always good to have more info going around in the comments and everything, you know. Treat it like a forum, man. Let's talk about it. Let me know what you guys think. But in any case, that's pretty much gonna do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully this was able to help anyone that's, you know, researching it. If you found this video, hopefully it was able to help. I appreciate you guys for checking me out. Appreciate the likes. It helps out tremendously. Like I said, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and stay tuned for more content. All the links are down below in the description for anything you guys might need. The 1391 merch, the 1391 apparel, as I like to call it. I don't really call it merch because it's more of an apparel type thing. You know, we're gonna make a whole clothing line out of it. We're gonna be doing more drops, and we're just gonna continue to improve on it, continue to improve on the content, and continue to level up and, you know, set new goals and set new heights with this, man. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, they're getting into it. I always tell you guys, man, just do it. A lot of people hit me up and ask me, you know, ask me questions on, you know, man, I want to get a YouTube started, or I want to do this, I want to do that. Just do it, man. Don't think too much about it. Of course, do your research. I did all the research that I could on keywords, on thumbnails, on, you know, titles and descriptions. There's so much research to be done. I'm still doing research. You know, we're always learning, we're always trying to improve, and anybody could do this. Like I've said to you guys in the past, I don't know if you guys have seen my videos or not, but for the people that are familiar, I was never a big talker. I was never good in front of the camera. Sometimes I still ain't, you know what I'm saying? I still ain't good at taking pictures. I still never know what to do with my face or with my body, you know, like I'm still not good at that. So, but anybody can do anything, you know what I'm saying? I'm a big believer in that. You just got to put your mind to it. You just got to, you know, silence that voice in your head that tells you can't do what you know you can. Come out with that confidence. Don't give a damn what anybody has to think or say about what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. Live it to the fullest. We only get one life. We only get one chance at this, man. So don't go years down the road and regret something that you wanted to do earlier in life, because there's plenty of stuff that I wish I would have done earlier in life, plenty of time that I wasted. But at the end of the day, I don't think about that. I think about right now, because that's all that matters. The past doesn't matter. What was that saying that I heard the other day? Damn, I forgot. It was something like, the past is something and right now is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Man, I forgot how that saying goes. But basically, man, the past doesn't matter. The future doesn't matter. All that matters is right now, because right now is what's going to shape your future. And anything that happened in the past is what made you who you are today. So At the end of the day, I don't regret anything. I wouldn't take anything back because it brought me to where I am right now. And I'm very confident about where I'm going, and all I'm thinking about is right now and what I got to do right now to get me to where I need to be. So do what you need to do to get to where you need to be. Do what you have to so you can do what you want to. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna stop the rambling, you know, but sometimes I like to throw a little bit of inspiration in there when I can. And if I could inspire just one person, then I did my job, man. But thank you guys so much once again. I appreciate it as always. Much love to you guys. That's gonna do it for this one. Who is Louie XIII checking out? I'm gonna see you guys soon. Salute.